I'm Ryan Newman, and since I started with Indiana Donor Network and Driven to Save Lives, I found out that some people think that they can't be an organ donor. The truth is, anyone can sign up to be an organ donor.
Anyone?
Anyone?
Are you sure?
Yeah, I'm sure. Anyone can sign up to be an organ donor. So don't count yourself out because somebody's counting on you. Go to driventosavelives.org and sign up today.
But my heart's going to you, Ryan.
Love that shirt.
Little over a month ago, the iRacing family, the racing family, and I found out today, the NRN family lost a good friend in Geoff Aldrich. His brother Vic is one of our regular drivers here on our iRacing content, and Geoff was one of our first commenters. Pretty sure our very first super chatter. Geoff passed away, like we said, about a month or so ago. So we want to dedicate tonight's show, the Silver Crowns at Phoenix, to Geoff Aldrich. But with that, it's time for us to get ready to go racing here, and we are looking forward to bringing you an absolutely fantastic show here tonight. Welcome everybody to Phoenix Raceway, and there's some thought process behind this race being the one where we honor Geoff Aldrich tonight. It will be the Dark Side of the Valley 80 for the Silver Crown Cup. Dark Side of the Moon was absolutely one of Geoff's favorite albums. Well, we're getting to do something fun here tonight. We're looking forward to this one in a very big way. My name is Chris Graham. Thank you so much for coming to hang out with us here this evening. We appreciate it. Joined in the booth, as always, by Mr. Patrick Byrne. And I tell you what, Bizzle, as we get ready to roll qualifying off here in just a couple of seconds, Phoenix Raceway, this is the Phoenix version, the old layout of Phoenix. Absolutely perfect racetrack for the Silver Crowns.
Yeah, this always was an absolutely perfect racetrack, and then they changed it a little bit. But this version is preserved forever here on the iRacing platform. We get to run these cars where they belong here at the old fairgrounds.
Yeah, basically.
What they built on top of the fairgrounds.
What they built on top of the old Arizona, either the Maricopa County Fairgrounds or the Arizona State Fairgrounds, either one. But my goodness, Phoenix Raceway, absolutely one of my favorites to get these cars out to, as practice has come to a conclusion and we are just getting ready to roll qualifications off here. Let's take a look and pick up, let's see, we got Derek Love out on the racetrack. D-Love carrying the number 1 here this evening. And Bizzle, we are going to have a time tonight. And, well, quite frankly, it's because Vic Aldrich put together an absolutely fantastic paint scheme in memory of his brother. But about half the field is going to be running this paint scheme here tonight. As D-Love goes top of the board, 26.287. We'll pick up the 2 of Brandon Buckberger. Lap number 2 for Buckberger, going to be good enough for third quick. James Watson out on the racetrack. Laura Gerhardt putting up a fantastic lap. Buckberger now down to the 4th position as Jeffrey Stanton moves up to position number 3 on lap number 1. Lap time of 26.443. Got to thank everybody that's tuning in on YouTube and on Facebook. We appreciate you coming to hang out with us here this evening, and looking forward to, quite frankly, a pretty fantastic show here. Lap number
Jeffrey
2 for
Stanton absolutely wheeling that thing. You can see him getting loose through the dog leg coming out of turn 4. That thing looks like a riot to drive.
Yeah, let's see who else we have out on the racetrack here. Looks like we have Josh Batista out on the speedway. In the Ream colors, the number 20, high, wide, and handsome. Through turn 3 and 4 on lap number 1, trying to get as much heat into those tires as he possibly can. Lap 2 will be the lap where he's looking to score.
Well, it's a dry heat.
It's a dry heat.
Gonna be no problem getting the heat into the tires here tonight in Phoenix. What's our track temp for tonight?
I don't know, actually. It's a good question. Oh, buddy, Batista almost getting it up into the outside wall exiting turn number 4.
I think he did. I saw some smoke there.
Yeah, and neither lap is going to score for Josh Batista. That is wild. Batista going to be coming well from the back of the field as James Watson is getting out onto the racetrack. We are down to 90 seconds remaining in qualifying. Only Jason Griffin and DL Lemon have not taken time in this in this qualifying session. And actually, let's pull the focus camera up here and get you a good look at this paint job that Vic Aldrich put together in memory of his brother, Geoff. A really good-looking race car. Very dark side of the moon theme. Love the look of it. James Watson will not improve on lap number 2, 26.638. His best lap will stand of a 26.423, down to just about 30 seconds remaining in the qualification session. And then it will be time to go racing for 80 laps here in the Valley of the Sun. And there it is. Checkered flag is out on the session. So as soon as we see somebody pick up onto the racetrack here, we'll get all the cameras fired up and we will get ready to show you tonight's starting grid. Starting on the pole with a lap time of 26.287 seconds, the Street Side Customs, Street Side Classics. Damn, screwing it up again.
We'll get it right eventually.
Street
Sorry,
Side
Derek.
Classics, Derek Love starting on the pole. No surprise there. D-Love been fast all season long, and lining up alongside will be one of multiple Geoff Aldrich tribute cars here, and this one will belong to the number 4 of James Watson. Row number 2 will have the Big Evil Designs, Napa Auto Parts, Rockwell, North Carolina. Number 3 of Jeffrey Stanton. It'll be the 94 on the racetrack and the 3 in your timing and scoring. Outside of row number 2, the National Racing Network, Driven to Save Lives special belonging to Brandon Buckberger. Row number 3 will have Laura Gerhardt in the Kibu number 11, lining up alongside of Brian Elmore in the 6. Row number 4, Brent Elmore following up, and it will be Kenneth Gorell in the Refined Motorsports. Number 57 on the car anyway, and it'll be the 7 in timing and scoring there outside of row number 4. Row 5, we'll see another of the tribute cars belonging to Westshire. He will carry the number 10 here this evening. And the 15 of Joe Gauthier, the Spotify colors. Good to see Joe in the show tonight. I'm not going into detail on why he almost missed the show. Hope you're feeling well, though, buddy. Row number 6, Jason Steinhurst in the unsponsored number 14 alongside of Simon Fell in another of those Team Watson racing setups, Geoff Aldrich tribute cars. This one will be car number 9. Row number 7, another of the tribute cars. You'll identify this one by the chrome orange Me Fine rims. That's the 13 of Zach Evans, lining up alongside of the Ream number 20 of Josh Batista. Row number 8, Derek Rolleveld and Jason Griffin, neither of those cars setting time. And DL Lemon in the Bitcoin, number 16, also not setting a time. Field making its way off of turn number 4. We are going to get ready to go green flag racing here at Phoenix. Number 1 very quickly on the board, and it will be Derek Love leading the field by, call it 5 car lengths into turn number 1 over James Watson, Jeffrey Stanton, and Brandon Buckberger. A little bit further back to Brian Elmore in the 5th position.
Stanton all over the rear bumper of Watson, trying to get underneath them, trying to take the Kevin Harvick line and just get below that yellow line. And it's a little bit of grip down there you can use, but it does chew up the tires.
Yeah, it's going to
try it in turn 1.
I'll tell you what, Watson running that outside lane already a little bit twitchy. And Watson's not going to just give up 1 spot. He's likely to give up 2 here as Buckberger going to try to work his way down to the inside. Stanton will get the pass completed. Buckberger now going to try to make the move down into turn 1.
Watson's, I don't want to say struggling on that top side, but definitely getting hung out to dry a little bit. But it might be saving the tires a little bit, and as we get towards the later section of this race, you might see him be able to claw back from it. It's not like he's sliding the whole way back through the field. He's still a top 5.
Yeah, I think it's one of those deals that you kind of just have to settle yourself in. A race at Phoenix is all about making it to the end of the show. That's the big thing. An 80-lap race here is not a quick little thing. I mean, the real-world cars, when they ran the Copper World Classic, that was a 100-mile race, and that would be 100 laps. We're taking a little bit off of that, but still, tire wear is going to be a huge concern for these guys.
Yeah, not only that, this older version of the track, it's supposed to be the same shape as the new one, but it just doesn't feel like it. Coming out of turn number 2 here, what is now turn number 4, it's very easy to slide up into that outside retaining wall right where the safer barrier ends.
Top 5 have all settled down. They're sitting about a quarter of a second apart. Let's slide back a little bit here. Pick up Joe Gauthier and Zach Evans battling for the 10th position. Good fight just up ahead as well. Brent Elmore and Wes Shire fighting. Evans comes through underneath the Gauthier. Derek Rolleveld going to follow him through. Laura Gerhardt getting up there as well. Gerhardt with the big drop of the race thus far, down 7. But the other car we got to watch coming through the field is going to be Josh Batista. Just up ahead here, already slicing 8 positions off of that qualifying run that saw him start at the back. Picking up the fight between DL Lemon and Jason Steinhurst. A little bit of a wiggle there for Steinhurst through the dogleg. And really, Bizzle, this is a racetrack almost like Nazareth used to be. It has 5 turns in these cars. It's not like the Indy cars or the stock cars that you're just going to flat-foot it through the dogleg.
No, these things, you absolutely at least have to give her a little breathe to the throttle. And possibly as it goes on, you're going to have to start dragging the brake a little bit getting through the dogleg. It's not a slow corner, but it's definitely a noticeable corner in these cars.
Oh, man, Wes Shire with a big wiggle off of turn number 4. Still able to keep Brent Elmore in the 17 down to the inside, and here comes Derek Rolleveld. He'll get the pass made. Zach Evans not quite able to follow through. So this battle from 8th back to 12th will start to settle down ever so slightly, as already 10 laps very quickly in the books.
What's interesting to me. I'd like to know if some of the top guys are playing with the weight jacker between the two different sides of the racetrack. I've always noticed the car wants to get loose here in the old turns 3 and 4, the very flat corners. Whereas in turns 1 and 2, the car seems to want to get very tight. So are they trying to loosen the car up, hit the weight jacker a bunch, going down the front straightaway, and then going through the dog leg, trying to tighten her back up so they don't spin it coming out of turn 4?
M. McCullen checking in saying we need a big wiggle counter. How about a t-shirt instead? Maybe some other merch. The logo is done. Oh man, hearing somebody hit hard. That may have been Simon Fell hitting the outside wall, exiting the dog leg. At the front of the field, things starting to heat up a little bit here. Jeffrey Stanton all up underneath Derek Love entering turn 3. Brandon Buckberger is going to be right there as well. James Watson holding on to the 4th position. Watson about a second back of the race leader, 6/10 back of Buckberger in 3rd, but he has 1.3 or so seconds. So this could be maybe a little bit of that, the tires saving, the only go as fast as you need to go that we're seeing out of Watson here.
Yeah, and Derek Love has Jeffrey Stanton all over him, and I'm fairly certain Derek Love is a purist in these cars, and he does not run a rearview mirror at all. So I'm not sure he knows how close Jeffrey Stanton is unless Stanton's going to try and make a move, and that spotter comes over the mic just about now. Car inside there, side by side, coming into turn number 3, still there. Derek knows he's there.
Yeah, I was going to say, you're one of those guys that is a bit of a purist. I know Wes Shire is as well. But there are other cues you can get. Depending on how good your audio setup is, you can hear where other cars are and when they're coming.
Yes, that is a huge thing. If I didn't have a nice pair of headphones like I had now, I would absolutely run a virtual mirror in these cars. But you can kind of hear with the surround sound headset, hey, there's someone there by my left rear. I'm hearing a little bit of noise, hear a little tire squeal when they get on it. And you know, hey, the pressure's on, it's time for me to go. I got to make a block here. Or sometimes you feel some contact and go, that was a little much. I definitely know he's there now.
Yeah, sometimes it's all about knowing when the move is coming. And quite frankly, being able to react to it, whether that's offensively or defensively. I'm not talking throwing blocks and throwing the dragon and all that kind of stuff, but just having that ability to say, hey, if I pinch this guy a little bit here on corner entry, we just saw it out of Derek Love. Pinch him a little bit on corner entry, you force him to back out, now he's got to set the pass back up again.
Yeah, you force them back out on entry, and that kills his mid-corner, kills their exit, and allows you another chance to have the advantage down the straightaway and enter with a defensive line next time.
Man, Jeffrey Stanton getting all over the place, exiting turn 4 that time. And these cars are not, hold up, caution flag is out. Trouble on the racetrack, and it may be DL Lemon that had an issue. Let's take a look here and see if we can't find out what the issue was here. Pick up the NRN instant replay. Follow that number 16 machine. Already a little bit of damage.
Oh man.
Wow.
He got help from the 14 of Jason Steinhurst.
I don't know if he got help or if he turned down on it. My goodness. Oh, buddy. Jason Griffin doing a nice job of sliding back and avoiding further contact. But as we run under the caution flag here, let's take another look from, let's try it from overhead here and see what the replay is going to show us here. Maybe a little bit of Steinhurst coming up, but a whole lot of DL Lemon coming down. I mean, he was out by the safer barrier, and the contact was made only about a lane and change off the bottom of the racetrack.
They just had a bidding war for the same piece of real estate, and frankly, I think it's clear to see who won the bid.
Yeah, one of you will continue. The other one, thank you very much. We'll see you next week. So we'll follow along with...
It's almost like we got a stage break here. I mean, we're a quarter way through the race. This caution if we had tire changes, it could have been fun to see some of these guys take tires, but unfortunately can't do that in the Silver Crowns. You're kind of stuck with what you got. So it just bunches the whole field back up together and re-rack them, send them away again.
Well, let's do a little bit of a follow-along here with our drivers running the Geoff Aldrich tribute paint scheme. James Watson currently running in the 4th position. Second of those paint schemes we're going to have is Wes Shire, currently running in 9th. Following Wes will be the 13 of Zach Evans. Zach currently running in the 11th position. And Simon Fell also going to be carrying that livery here tonight. Simon running in position number 15. Now moving up back to the head of the line, and this has been Derek Love's show since the drop of the green flag. We've seen this in the past though. Jeffrey Stanton able to just save a little bit, save just enough. Brandon Buckberger is going to be very aggressive here as we're just past the quarter post. James Watson in 4th. He wants to put that car on the podium tonight. I think we're going to have a really fantastic show here.
Yeah, as the laps tick down, these guys are only getting more and more aggressive. Very hot out there, very slick conditions. Quite possibly going to be a lot of side-by-side racing as these guys get fancy.
Potential for a shakeup in the point standings here as well as the field goes back under green flag racing. It's a great start for Love. Stanton, a little bit slow off the jump. Kind of backs everybody up as they head into turn number 1. Josh Batista, the big beneficiary of this caution. He's looking inside of Brian Elmore. He's picking up position number 5. Great view from the top of Rattlesnake Hill. It's almost like Batista's hoping for one more yellow.
Yes, sliding back just a little bit, but he's not out of sight of the leaders just yet. He's still got time to catch back up to him and make a move. Gonna have to pick them off one by one, those guys are all starting to space out a little bit.
Yeah, Josh Batista is your current leader in positions gained. He's up 9 positions. A couple of spots back, Derek Rolleveld in 7th, up 8. Everybody else only up 1 position here, but a couple of drivers making big charges through the field. A little bit further back, Kenneth Gorell and Wes Shire were side by side for the moment. Man, we've got a hornet's nest back here with Laura Gerhardt, Zach Evans side by side with Brent Elmore. Jason Steinhurst going to be there along with Joe Goff here. One of the things I love about Phoenix, these cars just work here. You can see there are fully 2 racing lines available for these drivers to choose from. You can make your pass outside, you can make your pass inside. The place just works with these cars.
Yeah, this is almost a perfect track for these things because this is pretty much one of the tracks that these cars used to run when they were the USAC Indy cars and they didn't have wings on them yet.
Yeah, AJ Foyt got the first win here back in 1964. And it is the list is a who's who in terms of drivers that have won a Copper World Classic or an IndyCar race. Copper World Classic was always one of my favorite racing events of the calendar year. They ran midgets at this place, which was absolute insanity. Plus the 410 sprints, plus the Silver Crowns, plus the Indy cars as Josh Batista getting a little handsy with the right side of his car into the safer barrier, exiting turn number 4.
I wish they would run midgets at more bigger tracks because it is freaking awesome seeing them at Lucas Oil Raceway Park. As we have Batista on the inside of Watson. Watson going to get the drive off of 4 as long as he doesn't get loose. And, Batista might have to try again into 1 unless he doesn't clear him.
Man, what a fantastic battle. Fights all the way through the field. Brian Elmore holding off Derek Rolleveld. But as these two fight, Elmore and Rolleveld are catching in. It's going to be a 4-car battle here shortly for position number 4. Cody Brooks checking in. The cars look so intimidating when rolling slow. Yeah, I would agree with that. They are they are something to look at. Even these cars that, quite frankly, were a little bit on the ugly side with the big Kardashian bolt-ons on the front. But yes, they are impressive. Ben Carswell is asking, could Newgarden win in a crown race at Phoenix, or is he another downforce cheater? I think Joe New would do all right in a pavement crown car. I really think he would. He likes to get that car kind of pitched sideways and feel it, moving the seat of the pants. I think Newgarden would be all right in a crown car.
Yeah, I think we should take the wings off of the Indy cars and run them here.
That would be kind of crazy, but I don't think that's something they could do.
What? They come right up. They swap them out in 8 seconds at a pit stop.
Yeah, no, I'm talking from
I'm
talking from a downforce perspective. I don't know that a modern Indy car makes enough mechanical grip without the wings attached to it. Those cars might be slower than the crowns we're seeing run here tonight if they don't have wings on them.
Well, yeah, they make 200 less horsepower and weigh not that much less.
And McCollins checking in. Bizzle doing his best Wes impression. Take the wings off and move the engines to the front.
Yes, wings are for cheaters. Mid-engines are stupid. This is the perfect race car.
I'm not disagreeing, but Bizzle yelling at clouds might have to become a t-shirt.
Oh, dear God.
So, it looks like the tightest fight we have on the racetrack right now is, let's see, going to be kind of back here. Zach Evans, Kenneth Gurrell, Brett Elmore. Things are starting to close. Well, they were starting to close ever so slightly at the front, but Derek Love able to hold a 0.3 of a second advantage over Jeffrey Stanton as we get to the halfway point. Josh Batista holding on to 4th. James Watson rounding out the top 5.
As we approach halfway, what do our tire fall-off numbers look like?
Tire fall-off is big from what the drivers were telling me in the pre-race. The track temperature, which I hate that I don't have the data available to me. I think I can get it though. But yeah, they were talking about track temperature being a massive dictator in what was going to happen as the course of this race ran on.
Dawson's out. That's going to be the 12 car of Jason Griffin parked up there on the front straightaway.
Yeah, let's take a look here and pull it up on the NRN instant replay. See what we got here. And take a look, see what happened to Jason Griffin in the 12. Looked like that car may have just kind of got a little bit outside, makes some contact with the outside retaining wall. Tries to save it.
It looks like he did.
Looks like he did.
Is he halfway wrecking this car the entire way around the racetrack?
Quite possibly. Let's see. Caught a little bit of curb. Just couldn't get the thing woed up there into turns 3 and 4, but
Oh, trying to come down
there
the
it
pit.
is.
Maybe not.
No.
No, this Lappy does good too.
Yeah, I was going to say, let's take a look. Pull up the replay a little bit later on here and see. Oh, there it is.
Oh, there it is.
You can only do that once. He spins around, gets it up against the inside retaining wall, and, well, that's all she wrote. Caution flag will come out onto the racetrack for the second time here this evening. So we'll pick up our race leader.
So I'm going to do my best Larry Mack here, but looking at the trends, I think we get another caution about lap 60. Had one lap 20, had one lap 40. It only makes sense we get one lap 60.
Sure.
Are we going to place bets on who it's going to be?
Nope. Because I am not getting called out for jinxing any of these guys.
Tell you what, we'll put the split at 7. Position number 7. Do you think it comes from someone up towards the front of the field, higher than position 7, or someone below position 7?
I will say below.
I think I'm going to take the below as well.
Call it a hunch. But I don't think it's going to be coming from anybody that's up here towards the top half of the field.
Ben Carswell checking in, saying we need to do a cutaway car next. Oh man, I would love to have one of these things cut up all in my living room. Go downstairs with the whiteboard.
Caution trends. C-A-W-T-I-O-N.
Oh,
That's the most Virginia spelling of that ever. M. McCullen saying at least no one is doing a Letarte impression. Very true. Very, very true.
that's next week's goal. I'll get the impression down. Don't worry.
I don't know that you can sound dumb enough.
It's the most you've ever complimented me, Chris.
Yes. That is exactly right.
That means the world to me.
Patrick, go be stupid somewhere else.
Oh, man. I was waiting for it.
We're here for you, buddy. So, lights are out on the iRacing safety car. We are going to get ourselves back to green flag racing here very shortly. Yeah, unfortunately, not able to pull up the weather data on this one, which is unfortunate. We need that. But pace car is going to
It's
make
hot out there.
yeah, it's Phoenix. It's hot. Off at turn number 4. Green flag goes in the air once again. We are back underway. Again, Derek Love gets the great jump. Jeffrey Stanton going to have to hold off Brandon Buckberger. And here comes James Watson. He's closing in on Josh Batista through 1 and 2. Buckberger way down onto the apron at the entry to turn number 3. Sometimes that helps the car turn. Sometimes it gets it absolutely squirrely.
Yeah, but that apron, there's like a grip strip down there. Getting the car on 2 different levels of banking, it does some of these things. It helps him turn.
Stanton closing in ever so slightly on Derek Love at the front, but Buckberger closing in even quicker on Stanton. At this point, looks like DL Lemon and Jason Griffin are going to be the only 2 cars out of the race. E11 still sitting on pit lane, 16 and change minutes into this one. Into the pit stop, I should say. A little bit of a moment there for Buckberger, exiting turn number 4. The gap's now inside right about 2/10 between Love and Stanton. Call it 2.5 car lengths as they exit turn 2. Big moment for Laura Gerhardt back in the pack. She was down near the inside wall exiting turn number 4. That car got so loose. See if Wes Shire is going to be able to make a move to the outside. Going to be followed by Zach Evans. A couple of those matching Geoff Aldrich tribute paint schemes. Working high, wide, and handsome off of turn number 4. Gerhardt able to hold the inside of the racetrack pretty cleanly through 1 and 2. And Wes Shire, now he has the moment exiting the corner. That opens the door for Zach Evans to look inside.
Zach Evans almost dives in there. You had to see him get on the brakes there to avoid pushing up into Wes Shire. Pulling off the famous Shire, mind you, where you get below another car and dump him into the outside wall. Wes loves doing that to me.
I think Josh Batista may have had a moment off the corner. Oh my goodness, so did Laura Gerhardt. That was more than a moment. That may have been a spell off at turn 2. We're seeing it now here, Bizzle. 50 laps in, these cars are getting squirrely.
Yeah, and I love when these things start getting super, super loose. It makes the racing fantastic because these guys have to actually drive these cars.
Yeah, there's none of those cheating wings and downforce helpers. The entirety of control lies within your right foot because you're not hitting the brakes in these things either because that's just going to make it snap around worse.
Yeah, it's basically you set the direction you want to turn with your steering wheel, and everything else is done with your right foot on that throttle pedal.
Even the rate of turn, I don't know if it's actually slip angle there or not, but how much you're using the slide of the back end of the race car. The more throttle you give it, the more it's going to turn.
It depends on which tire is getting hot. If the right front is getting hot, then your throttle determines how much that right front is going to slide and how much you're pushing in the corner. If your right rear is getting hot, it determines how much you're basically drifting through the corner. It is a very fun and neat car to drive in that way that you can kind of balance which tire is getting hot throughout the race and get the car almost into a four-wheel drift in the corners.
Which is kind of what you're shooting for. You're not looking to drift the car like loss of grip. It's more like you're just using that slip angle of you can get the car pitched a certain amount without losing grip or scrubbing the tire across the surface.
Yeah,
big contact!
The leaders make contact!
D-Love upside down, tumbling down the front straightaway. Derek Love still wrecking down the front stretch. Oh my goodness. Jeffrey Stanton involved in that one as well. And that is going to change the entire complexion of this race. Let's take a look here and see the instant replay here. Wow. I think we're going to have to see it from the overhead to really get a handle on what the issue was, whether it was Stanton sliding around. Oh, that was almost net Cody kind of contact. Hate to do it to you, D-Lo, but we are going to have to do this one more time. We are going on board with Derek Love.
Oh man, I am so glad I'm not in VR, because I know Derek Love races in VR. I've got his old headset. And, I would need to take that off, go sit down, maybe have a glass of ginger ale or two. Hopefully I can keep my lunch inside of me.
I say flatten that ginger ale first before you start sipping it if you're going to use it to settle the stomach. Let's see, as we are still under caution here, let's see if we can't get a quick word in with Jeffrey Stanton, the other car involved in that incident. And Jeffrey, it almost looked to us like a little bit of netcode type contact went on between you guys. What did you feel behind the wheel of that 94 machine?
Yeah, it was probably my fault. I was just racing too hard too early.
I
I don't know for certain. I can't tell until I see the replay, so I'm still on pit road. So.
Well, tough break. Hopefully we see a little bit better from you for next week. But thank you very much for hopping into the booth here and joining us for just a moment. And yeah, Bizzle, kind of one of those things that you go, might have been him, might have been me. Ultimately, again, I think kind of a racing deal, though.
Yeah. Looks like Cody Brooks wins the bet. He said he was taking the above. And she top 2 leaders, and look, we're right around lap 60. It's almost like the trends make sense.
Bizzle, you need to start keeping like spreadsheets and stuff.
Oh man, I have enough copies. I don't need to add spreadsheet collector to the list of nerdy stuff that I do.
That sounds about right. And McCullen checking in. Oh my. Going full George Takei there, but also big championship implications. Probably. Well, let's take a look. A little bit for Jeffrey Stanton, sitting on 990 points in position number 4. 894 for Derek Love in P6. It does help James Watson a bunch. But the big beneficiaries here are Brandon Buchberger and Josh Batista. Batista entered the night sitting on 1,099 points. A bunch, almost 200 behind Thomas Lewandowski. But Brandon Buchberger in third, sitting on 1,000 points. Obviously, we're not counting drop weeks and stuff yet, which this will be one for Lewandowski. But yeah, maybe a little bit of championship implication there. The big one for tonight's race, though, Josh Batista up 12 spots from where he started this race, and James Watson has that car back into a podium position as we go back to green flag racing. Watson has to slot back in behind Batista as they get to turn 1. Now 20 laps to go here at Phoenix. No change, quite frankly, throughout almost the entire field on that restart. Jeffrey Stanton able to get around Simon Fell on the restart, but that's it. Stanton all the way back in the 13th position after having a great run early on in this race. 5th place, Derek Rolleveld. A little bit high through turn number 3. Able to get back in behind Brian Elmore, though. Elmore up the racetrack pretty big in turns 1 and 2. That'll open the door once again. And now Les Shire and possibly even Zach Evans are going to have a shot to crack inside the top 5. $3,300 SOF race. Going to be some good points on offer here. What lap did Larry McBizzle's predict the next caution for? Did he get something right? Yeah, almost on the screws. The caution happened at lap 58, and he said about lap 60. So I think we have to give America's worst crew chief a little bit of credit here. I think he kind of hit the nail on the head. Hold on to it, Laura Gerhardt.
It's almost like you still need some brains to be a crew chief. Even the worst crew chief is still pretty bad. Anyway, we've got racing going on here too.
Roosevelt tried to get inside of Elmore, exiting the dog leg, but Elmore able to slam the door closed. And things may be getting a little spicy here at the front too. Brandon Buckberger, Josh Batista are within 2/10. How about we call it 2 car lengths as they get to turn number 3 this time by. And James Watson doing a really nice job of hanging around. Only about a half second back of these two. Watson absolutely in a position to capitalize. Down to 15 to go here, Bizzle. I would tend to think we're getting close to the point where if you're Josh Batista, you have to start thinking about making a move, but how much of your tire did you burn off in the process of trying to get there, and is it worth wrecking yourself to chase a win when second tonight is a really good point start?
No, I like the look of that checkered flag. I'm willing to risk it all to go and get it.
Yeah, and you got to pass a guy who's going to do almost anything he can to not let you pass.
Yeah, but when you finish second, the only people that remember is your wife and your dog, and that's even debatable. You finish first, and this is iRacing, so it's still going to be the same 2 people remembering it, but at least you get a trophy. It's a good picture.
Yeah, something like that. Tell you what, this battle back here with Ryan Elmore, Derek Rolleveld, this one is continuing to be good. Rolleveld again looks up the outside of the racetrack. Possibly some trouble for Kenneth Garrell. He's down 3 or 4 spots back to the 13th position. Back to the front, though. It's less than a car length separating Buckberger and Batista.
Where does Batista make the move? Does he wait for Buckberger to make a mistake, or does he start to force the issue here?
Well, yeah, and there is the question of, can you make the move too early? If you make the move now, you're going to give him a shot to get back at you. As Batista, big down into turn number 1.
Not only that, these guys fighting side by side is going to draw Watson right back up to these guys. That's another question. Does Watson go and make the move if he gets up there, or is he going to be happy with the 3rd place finish?
Batista and Buckberger continue to fight side by side. It was Buckberger by half a car length. Just enough to clear to turn number 1. Watson is closing that gap as we're now down to 9 laps to go. Here in the dark side of the valley, 80 at Phoenix Raceway. Oh man, both the leaders getting twitchy. Pushing as hard as they possibly can. Brandon Buckberger was talking in the pre-race about how he just feels there's no raw pace in the car. Considering even not running season 4. A win changes a lot of those thought processes though.
Yeah, but he's going to have to fight for it. Batista's getting ready to start putting that bumper to him.
Well, yeah, but this place is so big. Can you really put the bumper to somebody without just absolutely junking them in the process?
Absolutely. It's still a short track. You can definitely do it in turns 3 and 4. 1 and 2 are a little too steeply banked for me to try it. The dog leg is just too hairy for me to try it. But going into turn 3, even in the mid-quarter here, I can absolutely see the bumper being an effective tool to get by.
We're going to have to come past the lap car of DL Lemon. DL out of the way. No harm, no foul. 5 laps to go. And this race does have the potential of overtime. Should an incident happen, one shot at an overtime finish. Well, and you said lap 60, and we got it at what, 58? 57,
yeah,
something like that?
Anything's possible here, especially now with 3 heat cycles on these tires.
Batista might try the crossover here down the front stretch. Buckberger throws the bizzle, blocks them off. Both cars loose into turn 1. They're able to get him under control, but, man, I don't know that Batista's going to lift the next time a block like that comes. What a setup, though, by Batista. Run it way high through 3 and 4. Grab some gravity, come down the banking, and try to make the move. Buckberger, again, loose off the corner. He's going to take the low line into 1. Here comes Batista looking high with 2 to go.
Gonna try and cross him up into the
oh, there's contact!
And Buckberger
down to the inside! Somehow able to save it! And we stay green! White flag is out. 1 lap to go here at Phoenix. Josh Batista holding a 7/10 of a second lead over James Watson. Through the dogleg for the final time. 2 more corners to exit safely, but that's not a guarantee here. Twin checkers in the air. Josh Batista gets the win at Phoenix. James Watson comes home second, and Derek Rolleveld up to position number 3. What a race here tonight at Phoenix. We almost had leaders taking each other out multiple times tonight. As we pick up that beautiful number 20 Ream entry of Josh Batista. Parks it right there on the start-finish line. That's a pretty shot right there, Josh. Thank you very much. We appreciate that. Now let's take a look. Almost last. Let's show you the race results. Batista by 1 second over James Watson. Derek Rolleveld comes home third. Brian Elmore and Wes Shire complete the top 5. 6 through 10, Zach Evans, Laura Gerhardt, Brandon Buckberger recovering to finish in the 8th position. Jeffrey Stanton with a great recovery drive to finish in 9th. And Joe Gauthier rounds out the top 10. 11 through 17 tonight. Brent Elmore, Jason Steinhurst, Simon Fell, and Kenneth Gorell, the last car on the lead lap. Derek Love out of the race, 26 laps behind the race leader. DL Lemon finishing, but 37 laps down. And Jason Griffin rounding out the field here tonight in the dark side of the valley, 80, in memory of Geoff Aldrich. absolutely fantastic show. And Ed McCullen, solid punterito. Post-race interview is going to be spicy. Yeah, quite possibly. I'm a little hesitant to even pull people out of the room that they're in yet, but well, let's see. Maybe not as spicy as we think here, but let's see. We will have. Oh, let's see. Just getting all the cameras squared away so we can do these interviews appropriately here. There we go. Let's bring up our race winner here tonight, Mr. Josh Batista. And man, I'll tell you what, Josh, the first question we got to ask, the fighting, the battling late in this race with Brandon Buckberger was intense. I think some blocks, maybe some bizzles, over-aggressiveness both ways. But man, you guys put on a heck of a show and ultimately a little bit of contact there with a couple laps to go.
Yeah, we definitely did put on a show. I feel bad for hitting him. I wasn't trying to wreck him, obviously. We were having such a good, hard race, and I just got a better exit off, too, and barely clipped him there. And I didn't mind the blocking and stuff. That was just good, hard, fun racing. He even mentioned to me, he's like, I'm going to make you work for it. I ain't going to give it to you. So he definitely tried his best. That's for damn sure. I still feel bad, but hey, we'll take the dub.
Take the dub, and quite frankly, the way you did it was impressive. We talked about it early in the race, having issues in qualifying, starting way towards the back. This place is not the easiest to pass on. Now, when you have the outright pace that you had in that car, it's a little bit easier, but picking your way through the field here at Phoenix is not exactly an easy thing to do.
Oh, it definitely isn't, and both lines kind of honestly worked out today. Like, I felt like the high line you could make some passes up there, too. Like, I seen Jeffrey there tried to pass on the outside on Derek, and that unfortunately didn't work out. I don't know exactly what happened, but you could definitely pass today, I felt like.
Yeah, and it was a great show, and quite frankly, very good for your championship hopes here as well. With Thomas not being in the show tonight, it's going to factor as a drop week for him. But we had a pretty decent strength of field tonight. You're going to pick up a lot of points after this one. You got to be feeling pretty good here at least.
Oh, definitely. We'll keep hopefully carrying this momentum on to the next week and rest of the season and fight for this title.
All right, buddy. Well, congratulations on the win. We're looking forward to talking to you more here. And before we let you go, make sure you do all the big sponsor plugs and thank yous you got lined up there.
Yeah, I got to thank Reem. You guys for putting on the show, everybody watching, and Jeffrey for the setup, too, because he gave me that earlier today. And, yeah, it was definitely a rocket ship.
Yes, it was. That car was fantastic tonight. Congratulations on the win, brother, and looking forward to talking to you a little bit more here over the weeks ahead. And now let's bring in a guy who's going to be pretty jacked up here to bring home a second-place finish tonight. Mr. James Watson in carrying the Geoff Aldrich tribute colors tonight. This one's got to be pretty darn big for you here, brother.
Oh, yeah, I'm pretty emotional. I really wanted to get some sort of good result, to have some sort of good result for the team. You know, Vic is such a close personal friend and such a huge member of the team that it hit all of us kind of hard when we heard about Jeff's passing. So, I wanted us to be there for him and get a good result for Geoff tonight, and I was a little worried, you know, running back there in fifth with Brian kind of closing in on me a bit. Heat cycle roulette kind of got me a little bit, and I wasn't sure if I was gonna get that good result, but I think Geoff was staring down on us to get us a good result and a fitting finish for the scheme and for him.
Yeah, and it seemed like the car tonight was good. I don't know that I would call it great outright pace, maybe not totally spot on, but ultimately a lot of these races at Phoenix, it's about making sure you're there at the end. And this was a perfect example of that tonight.
Yeah, it was really behind the eight ball because normally I build the set on Friday during the weekly team D&D session, and then we get together Sunday night and test it, but I wasn't able to get it built Friday, so I'm like, I'll just put it together Saturday, and then our power was out like the entire day. So, and then I had schoolwork that was due on Sunday that I needed to focus on, so I had significantly less time in this set than I usually do. So I wasn't sure what it was going to do, really what it was going to be, and somehow I managed to slap together something that pretty good. It of course didn't quite have enough for like the top four, but it's hard to really have something for them because they're just flat out that much better drivers than me. But yeah, it was still felt good, and I think it's been a bit of a struggle this season. So I think that might have been the best set I've put together for all of us this season. So I'm really kind of relieved about that.
Well, momentum turning your way a little bit here as we get later in the season. Looking at the point standings that have now updated, we have a new points leader, Josh Batista, sitting on 1298, 1275, same number he entered the week on for Thomas Lewandowski. James Watson to 1169, only 130 points back from claiming an overall championship here. Now, obviously, again, we have to factor in the drop weeks and all that kind of stuff, but you got a shot here, brother. What are you thinking here as we get ready to run these last handful of races?
Well, I don't know, because next week is Motegi, and I'm absolutely gutter trash at Motegi, which means we're probably going to be trash. Dover is one of my better tracks. Myrtle, we haven't run here in a long time, but I've typically done well. Our Pocono set last season was pretty freaking flying, and I've got a lot of really mediocre finishes this season, so I mean, hope isn't lost, but I'm gonna need a lot of breaks to go my way these last 4 weeks, so I'm not realistically looking out for it. I'm just trying to bring home another top 5 in points finish. That's really my goal for the rest of the season.
Well, congratulations on the podium finish here tonight, bud. And before we let you go, make sure you get all the sponsor plugs and thank yous in here for this week as well.
Yes, sir. Gotta thank everyone back at Team Watson Racing Setups. Use code WATSPIN39 for 10% off at checkout. Gotta thank Mark Sports Sim Racing Apparel. You and everyone else, of course, at the National Racing Network. ZS Designs and Dizzy V Designs for putting together my paint schemes and putting together this awesome paint scheme tonight. And my folks for watching at home, too.
All right, buddy. Well, thank you much. We appreciate you coming to hang out with us here for a couple of minutes. And, man, I'll tell you what, Bizzle, as we go back to the live looks here around Phoenix Raceway, we were expecting a show and really hoping to put on a good show tonight for Geoff looking down. And, man, I'll tell you what, the Dark Side of the Valley 80 was absolutely fantastic here tonight.
Yeah, that was a really, really fun one. Cars sliding all over the place. The leaders take themselves out not once, but twice. That was a fun one. I liked that race.
Yes, it was. I enjoyed every bit of that show. Quite frankly, like James was talking about some of the races that we have coming up here next week. I'm looking forward to Motegi. It's a little bit cross between Phoenix and Darlington in terms of the flatness of Phoenix and the shaping of Darlington. It should be a pretty good show for these guys, but we got a couple of more races to come up here. 3 big ones coming up this week. Wednesday night, it will be the Sim Racers Club at New Hampshire Motor Speedway. That will be coming at 9 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. Follow that up with a doubleheader on Thursday, the U.S. Open Wheel Championship heading off to Sebring Raceway. Don't want to miss that one. That is going to be a great show. That was the first of our races last season, I think it was, that we had Carter Lundy and David Porcelli, a combined margin separating the two of like 2 1,000ths of a second in both races. It was incredible. We're going to get a great show out of it again here this week, that's for sure. But with that, time for us to wrap up this week's coverage of the Silver Crown Cup for the Dark Side of the Valley 80 in memory of Geoff Aldrich. Jeff, wherever you are, I hope you enjoyed the show, and our thoughts and prayers go out to the Aldrich family as well. Surf Gonzo will live forever on the NRN airwaves, that is for sure. But with that, time for us to get the heck on out of here. For Patrick Byrne and everybody here at the National Racing Network that makes these shows happen, my name is Chris Graham. Thank you so much for coming to hang out with us, and we will talk to you all soon. Have a great night, everybody.